push it over. They're gonna laugh no matter what I say.
All right, welcome to JDub Security Lab. Today is going to be a walkthrough on the Defender for Cloud AI agent setting around real-time protection for your AI agents. And as we go into 2026, we're going to see lots and lots more activity around this. So I think it's really important. So let's dive right in. First one, we're on the Defender XDR portal. So where this setting is, we're going to go down to settings. We're going to go into cloud apps. And as soon as this loads, we are going to go down. You will notice a new setting here around AI agents, Copilot Studio AI Agents. And once we click this on, most of us have already got Defender for Cloud set up and we have that app connector set up. I will show you that real quick. So to make sure that is set up under connected apps, app connectors, we are going to make sure Microsoft 365 is not only turned on, but it has all of these in. So we want this app especially ready. We want all of this stuff turned on and ready to connect. Once that's connected, you should see that first checkbox go here as well. In the AI agents inventory, this is the next one to just talk about, hey, we want to make sure we see all the AI agents, that we get all the inventory that we expect to get. And again, as it says, it can take up to 30 minutes for that. Now, this is done in the Power Platform Admin Center. You will see here, I am under the Security tab, under Threat Detection. If we go into this, you'll see this Copilot Studio AI Agents, and we just want to make sure this is turned on. Once turning this on, you will get that second step that we're monitoring those Copilot Studio AI Agents as well. Cool. This last one is great. Real-time protection during agent runtime, which is going to make anybody interacting with agents we've built with Copilot go through the security provider of your choice. For today, we're using Defender XDR to do this, so there is some really nice built-in capabilities there. But we can do some extra stuff if we connect that back to say, hey, we want to inspect that prompt before runtime and see if it is going to get blocked or not. So really nice feature set. I have set mine up already, but we're going to walk through the full creation process as well. In here, you will see, hey, if I wanted to connect Microsoft, here is the URL you want to do. I will put this in the notes as well for the session so that you can find that. You can also bring your own third-party threat service. So they will give you that URL. You can hook that in, and we're going to go through the whole setup for that. And then we had to create and register an app in here that is needed not only in here, but that is going to be needed in the Power Platform section as well. So let's go through step one. So, hey, we turn this on. We have our app connector. We have our AI agent inventories. Easy enough to get those settings. And now we're talking about the real-time protection during agent runtime, which is not that easy to set up, in my opinion. So here is a decent run through. Step one, we are going to go into app registrations, and we're going to create a registration here real quick. And we are going to call this Copilot Agent AI Runtime Detection. Let's give it something really official. We're just going to give it our single 10 here. Cool. So that doesn't take very long. We've now created our new app registration, the Copilot Agent AI Runtime Detection and Response. We're going to need that application client ID at some point. So we're going to grab that. Let's go ahead and copy that, and I'll save it for later over here. All right, cool. So the first thing we need to do is get a federated credential going. So we're going to go into certificates and secrets. We're going to go into the federated credential, and we're going to add that credential. We are going to pick other issuer here, and then you'll see a few things. So what I want to put in here, and this is in the documentation as well, is this is my tenant ID here. And so that's step one. And then the second part we have to work on, I'm going to put in what I have, and I'm going to quickly show you guys how that magic happens. So all right, so I'm probably dating myself. I'm using Windows PowerShell ISC, but in the documentation, you'll see a few things we need to do to get that URL in there, right? So for the federated identity. So the first part is we need to put our tenant ID in there. We need to base 64 encode that. The next part is your endpoint. So since we're pointing this back to Defender, this is the endpoint here, and we're going to base that. So we go ahead and run that. And that's how we get those two values that we see in that identity. So here's my encrypted tenant, and here is my encrypted endpoint as well. So based off of those, you will see that, hey, in this format here, it's going to give you this format. Here is my encrypted tenant ID, and then here is my encrypted endpoint URL. So make sure you get a good look at this. There was multiple ways to do this. This is shown in the documentation for this. This is the one that finally got me the ability to get this fully connected. So once that happened, we were good to go, and I was able to save that agent as well. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at one that I already had set up here real quick. We're going to go back into app registrations, and I'm going to go to my initial one, the MCA Copilot Agent Protection, and we're going to see under those certificates, I have that federated credentials set, and we are good to go. This thing is set up and same format as you guys saw, same URL here. So then in Cloud Apps, you will see that this will turn to, we will edit this. So we want to put that URL in here that I had. And then that app ID of that app registration here, we're going to paste in here. And what will happen when we set this is it's going to show half connected. You'll get a half green circle in here because we have more work to do on the Power Platform side. So let's go take a look at that. The last step, once we have this set, again, this part here was the part that I had to go through some error logging and get set up. So hopefully you don't have to, and you'll be able to use this format and get that set. There is some examples in the documentation on the Learn site as well. That's good, but I figured a real world walkthrough would be helpful for a lot of people. All right. Now that we have all that set up, we have to jump over into the Power Platform Admin Center and get everything connected to the app registration and talking back to Defender for Cloud Apps. So in Power Platform Admin Center, we're going to go down to Security. We're going to go over to Threat Detection, and we're going to go to this additional threat protection for Copilot Studio Agents. I have one set up already. We're going to go ahead and add this to our default environment now. So let's go ahead and get that set up. And then we're going to need to turn this on, and then we're going to grab a few things. So that's that app ID I had on the earlier step. And we're going to grab the agent here, that endpoint link that we talked about before, just to make sure it's all out. And then there is an error behavior here to say, hey, if it's slow to respond or returns an error, should we let that agent respond, or we're being high secure? And we're going to go ahead and block that query. That's up to you. For today, we'll just allow the agent to respond. So now this is going to reach out and attempt to grab a token from that federated credential. So let's cross our fingers, real time work, and let's go ahead and save that. And if all goes well, we should see a green check mark here, I hope. And connection is on, right? So what's great about this is we're going to go ahead and save that. Again, just to make sure, that's the OCD part of me. Let's close this out. So now we have it on for that new environment. Once that happens in your environment, you will see within a few minutes, this will go to connected, and then we will have that all set up, and we can move on to testing that agent. I have a few agents built, and we'll do that in another video, but this was the hardest step for me. So hopefully that helps someone else get that set up and connected too. And so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.